أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So inshallah we will start a new topic. It's going to be about frugality. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. This is the verse that we will be studying. And the text is from the book Flashes, and it's going to be 19th Flash. 19th Flash. And it's about frugality. So what I would suggest is let's give 10 minutes to everyone to read it by themselves, and then inshallah we will read it together. Okay, if we are ready, let's read the first point together, and then we can start discussing from there. Onur, do you read slow and nice? Okay, give it a try. Start from the very beginning until the end of the first point.
Okay. First point, the all-compassionate Creator desires thanks in return for the bounties he bestows on mankind, while wastefulness, in contrary to thanks, enslights the bounty and causes loss. Frugality, however, shows respect for the bounty and is profitable. Yes, frugality is both a sort of thanks and shows respect towards the divine mercy manifested in the bounties. It most definitely is the cause of plenty. So too, like abstinence, it is health-giving for the body, and since it saves a person from the degradation of what is in effect begging, is a cause of self-respect. It is also a powerful means of experiencing the pleasure to be found in bounties and tasting that pleasure in bounties which apparently afford no pleasure. As for wastefulness, since it is opposed to these instances of wisdom, it has grave consequences.
So we are studying the verse كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. Eat and drink, but do not waste. This verse gives most important and wise instruction in the form of categorically commanding frugality and clearly prohibiting wastefulness. And then we are going to study 7 points, and we read the first point. Any opening remarks, comments about the verse, about the first point? So author's opening statement is the all merciful, all compassionate Creator desires thanks, and wastefulness is against this thanks. Do you agree with that, or does it work well with you? Because eventually he's connecting it to offering thanks to the Creator. But wasting is against offering thanks, I guess. Any comments about that? Are we okay with that statement?
In terms of eating, what is waste? Is it just throwing away food, or is there a waste in overeating, or the types of food that you eat?
Yeah. In terms of eating, what is waste? In the second point, was it in the second point or the third point he made it? Second point. So I guess chickpeas is good. We are safe. My understanding is that certain food is way more expensive, as we will try as one of our congregants today brought baklava to us. It's a luxury food. So I guess in terms of, I guess as a simple example for now, let's leave it there. We can discuss more. But if the point is to feed the body, baklava is a very expensive food to feed your body with. Or is it caviar? That is the super expensive thingy. I mean, it's very expensive way of feeding yourself, for sure. No more organic food. Said feeding the body, so don't feed your body with junk either.
Question here as well. I'm not sure I understood this part. In the first point, it says it is health giving for the body, and since it saves a person from degradation of what is in fact begging is a cause of self-respect. Degradation, and I'm not sure begging, like we are asking our Lord to actually provide for us. So why is this degrading?
My understanding is that wasting is not cheap. So to be able to waste, you need to either work hard or work harder to get the promotion. Like to be able to afford this much spending, or like if it was simply feeding my body, probably a dry bread would be sufficient. Like imagine if I have a shelter, and if the point is just to initially bare minimum feed myself, I will live a quite different of a life than me who is trying to live a certain life standard. And to achieve this life standard, I'm really trying too hard to please somebody else. It might be my boss, it might be, I don't know, certain people out there, so that I will be able to get the money and the position that I would like to hold so that I can afford this living. In a sense, it's being, I'm not literally begging for money, but I am begging for promotion. I am begging for keeping my position and whatnot.
Wouldn't we be asking our love for that?
So it depends. It really depends. Like, if you really think that when a beggar begs from another person, he is asking from God, sure. But what is then human dignity? Like, let's try to make it practical. Let's say if you were really asking something from me, and you're asking it for, I guess in this question, things are getting a little mixed up. But what's getting mixed up? Somebody help me so that I don't talk the whole time. Director, would you like to? Okay. Pass the microphone.
Okay, I guess I was just trying to first establish what the author is saying, and I think that's where I got lost with the example that was provided. Is the frugality, like when it comes to food, I believe was what was being discussed, but then I'm like, to feed oneself, is that the frugality? Like I'm kind of confused on, I thought the focus later becomes like the type of food, but then I didn't know what was being said about the type of food either. So just maybe kind of first breaking down what's happening in the text would be a good start.
Let's start from there. Michelle, we'll get to here before we get lost. Thank you for saving me from that rabbit hole. Okay. Yes. And would you like to take it from there? No. Okay. So because the first point is very general in this regard because it doesn't give any example yet, but it is saying that the creator requires or desires thanks, but wastefulness is against thanks. I think this is where we are starting to see why wastefulness is wrong. Because generally, in upcoming places, it's going to come again. Like, this is my money, this is my health. I earned it in halal ways and whatnot. And I am buying halal food or halal car or whatever you would like to call it. What's wrong with that? Like everything seems to be happening in quote unquote officially, technically halal ways. But in here, author is mentioning that it's the issue with wastefulness is going against thanks. Wastefulness is against offering thanks.
I guess when we're discussing wastefulness, are we thinking like, because I might think I need a specific set of things to consider waste. So like what I consider waste is also different than maybe, because I was trying to establish what actually the author considers waste, right? Like, because the example you were given, if somebody's like, well, I need 2 cars and etc. and a house and whatever, and they're like, that is not waste because I'm using all of these things versus like, oh, I'm tossing out food every day feels like, oh, I'm actually like seeing that I'm wasting something. So I'm trying to determine like where the waste is. Because in the example you gave of work, I'm like, well, if I work hard, quote unquote, and got this thing and I'm not wasting it because it's being used, is that waste? Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for all those questions. Then can we use the first sentence as a description? Waste is that which prevents you thanking, or waste is the thing that goes away without you offering a thanks for it. Like I consumed, let it be time, let it be my youth, let it be food, let it be car, let it be position, whatever. So it goes by, but I didn't offer thanks about it. So it gets wasted.
But I guess in that sense, it becomes an attitude as opposed to an item, right? Because you can, like, I guess the perfect person could keep on offering thanks and buying the Burj Khalifa, like, right?
Sort of. I mean, theoretically, yes, let's say.
Like, I guess, like, what I'm understanding is, like, the act of wasting, like, will lead you to eventually stop offering thanks. But, right, like, 'cause then again, you can keep on being grateful for everything, I guess.
An example for this will come. Yes, that's correct. I think it's in the third point. An example about this will also come. But right now, I think going with these extreme examples in our position is making it hard to understand. Because in the third point, he's going to give the example of this Sheikh Jilani. And in there, he says, once you get there, you start talking about it. But otherwise, like, this is not the main point. But yes.
So I'm looking at the ayah at the very beginning, where the entire text is the interpretation. So in the ayah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, it says, "Qulu," like eat, washrabu. There is no object, right? It doesn't say eat this or eat that. Eat whatever you are eating, whatever you are drinking. Wala, and then it comes wala tusrifu. Like don't be extravagant, right? Don't as this interpretation explains, do not waste. So like when you think about it, a revelation comes and it says, I'm the speech of the God. And what it tells us, eat and drink. You would say, I apologize, but you are wasting my time. Like, I already know that I need to eat and drink. Right? It's like a self-contradictory sentence. Eat, drink, do not waste. And if we just take it as, oh, the revelation is telling us, we should be eating and drinking, or eating this way or that way, eating this food or that food, to me, it would be waste of time anyway, because what I eat most of the time, I mean, I'm not talking about, in our society, maybe, but in most places, what you eat, what you drink is already kind of predetermined by your geography, right? Especially at the time of the revelation when you're thinking about it. If you are living in a place where the seafood is your main source of food, eating an octopus, for instance, wouldn't be a luxury. It will be what we eat, man. Right? This is the only food we have, you would say. For another person who living somewhere else, where the sheep or cows are the main source of food, it has to be meat, one way or another. Then you would eat that. So then the ayah must be telling us something, beyond that, right? So as if telling us, when you eat something or when you drink something, there is a way of drinking or eating it that would waste what you eat. And there will be another way of drinking or eating that will not waste what you eat. Right? And then the first point starts explaining it. A water is given to you. I mean, forget about the other examples, this type of food, that type of food, just the water, because ayah says drink as well, right? And this is what I drink, either water or on Fridays I drink iron. That's all. So I drink water. Someone is increasing. Okay. So let's say, this is somebody mistakenly, puts part of the iron on the floor, try to feed, the bacteria there. May Allah be pleased with them for that intention, inshallah. We can take it as, the ayah is talking about, don't waste your iron. But this is also, it's not something, I need revelation for, right? So it must be even beyond that. The humanity, whatever is given to me, is already, designed in a way that somebody, when they pour the iron or water on the ground instead of drinking, I would be annoyed anyway. So when somebody is giving me water and I'm drinking it, right? And with water, you cannot drink in excessive amount anyway, right? After a certain point, your body tells you stop, and you stop. So, but what is the waste then with the water? Right? And author says, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, it is given. It is a bounty. You understand this? Author says, he says, all compassionate creator desires thanks in return for the bounties he bestows on mankind. How we read it? What is our approach? We start from our perspective, and we start from the bounty part, not the creator, right? We say, the author is telling me that the water I drink is a bounty. And most of the time, I even don't take it as a bounty. It comes from what? Tap. In our case, it's really coming from tap. It's a purified water, right? I just turn on the tap and it comes. What bounty are you talking about? That's my attitude. But author says, no, it's a bounty. It's given to you. You should realize that. And it's given to you as a what? As a risk, as a sustenance. I was thirsty a few seconds ago. I had a need, and this need is sustained through something as good as beautiful as water. Water, when you think about it, is such a beauty. But only when you think about it. And then you start appreciating it, right? You appreciate the water. You appreciate how your need is sustained. Now water says, is not wasted. Otherwise, it is wasted. You just drank it and nothing happened. Just like, you put gas on your car starts running, we put some water on you in you and you start running, right? No difference between car and you. You just wasted it. Even probably newer cars, like a new, the versions of the cars, they probably tank for the gas when you put it with a signal or something, and you don't even do that. It is wasted. Once we understand this, at least to me, the rest becomes easier. You understand why? Why? Because when somebody talks about, oh, you shouldn't eat, more than what you need, you would say, of course, yeah, I wouldn't. Because why? When you equate eating and thanking, you eat, you become thankful, you appreciate the value of this need sustained, right? You know that when there's no need, but you're still putting, some food in your stomach just out of, custom, or because you are silly, you know that you will not appreciate it. You cannot appreciate it. There is no need. No need is sustained. You don't see it bounty. If you have a lot of money, if you start burning your money, it means you're not taking it as a bounty. You're not taking it as a sustenance. You do not respect it. So the topic then, it's not about the burning money is bad, pouring the water is bad. Go to talk to an atheist, the atheist will say similar things. But the point is, even as simple as water or dry bread, somebody offers you dry bread, and you say, oh, I was so hungry. You start eating it, and then, burp, and then go. You just wasted it. Where is the appreciation? What need you were thinking about? What sustenance you realized? This is the difference of revelation. Revelation says that eat, drink as we provide you. Right? It's the order, eat. As if, I'm giving it to you so that you will eat. Now the emphasis is it is given for you. Appreciate this. And when you do that, you're not wasting it.
So wastefulness is if I cannot offer thanks, if I cannot appreciate or show respect to the bounty, using the term from the text. So showing respect for the bounty, waste is not showing the respect or not seeing it as a bounty. Then this is the sign of waste. It could be at any scale. It could be for water. It could be for dry bread. It could be for Burj Khalifa, whatever you would like to call it. And Zarina and Nibras made a comment. They were saying that does frugality then change depending on how much provision you are given? What is luxurious to me might be normal for someone else. The point is to be content with what I am given. So I would like to update the word content. Content is correct, but author in here is more emphasizing more in the sense of offering thanks and respecting the bounty. Because contentment is I am okay with, but offering thanks and showing respect is one step further. So you are being cognizant and reciprocating. You're aware that you're given, you're appreciating it, and then you're responding back by showing respect. Wastefulness is, there's this word slights. I don't really know what that word means, but in the original text, the word he uses is looking down upon something. disrespect. So wastefulness has this connotation of not respecting the bounty, disrespecting it. Does it feel like this? Like wastefulness is disrespecting the food or the bounty or whatever it is, and frugality is respecting it? Does this make sense?
Can we take the other way around? Because when you say the wasting is being disrespectful and not respecting the bounty, what people would do, as I do, start with the idea of wastefulness from our normal life, right? Whether I pour the water or not, and then say that, oh, wastefulness is bad because it's being disrespectful. I think this will not, they teach us much. What we should be doing instead, saying that the disrespectfulness is waste. We are now redefining what is waste. What is wasteful? We're not trying to say that, okay, let's start with our preconceived idea of wastefulness. Whether I eat, one handful or two handful. And then let's see why this is bad. No. The text is actually defining us, teaching us what is wastefulness means from a Quranic perspective. And for instance, the question that Nibras and Zerin asked, the question itself, it still shows, it's trying, like we're still starting with this idea of the waste from an economics perspective and say that whether it is luxury or not, if it's not luxury, it is not wasteful. If it is luxury, it is wasteful. The point is not that. I mean, it will come to that. But the point is, let's redefine what waste is. Whether it looks luxury or it's not the point here. The point is, whatever you are eating, whatever you are drinking, no matter how much you are drinking or how much you are eating, whether there is a thankfulness, appreciation for the bounty, do you see it as a bounty? Do you appreciate it? That's the point. The amount will come later because, as I said, once you start thinking like in with the terms of, am I thankful? Do I appreciate it or not? You will automatically say that after a certain point, I cannot appreciate anyway. Hence, you stop somewhere. Not because it is bad for your, the pocket. Because it's bad for your health. These will be consequences. Seeing it bounty, seeing it as a artful creation, sustenance, cognizant of that, be thankful. If you are doing this, it is not wasted. If you are not doing this, it is wasted.
I guess that my question has a lot to do with what you just explained. And it's that under this definition of wastefulness, then it gets lost to me, like the relationship between wastefulness and expense then gets lost. And I'm sure that, or I guess we'll get to discuss that when we get more in depth into the 19th flash. But like, just in my current state, right? If I'm honest and transparent, I think that the default state of how I am right now is I wouldn't be grateful for the basic things, and I would be grateful for the most expensive things. Like I might not be super cognizant of how I am being sustained by the water I'm given or by the rice that's like, basic, but I might be more inclined to remember my creator if I'm finally able to get, I don't know, Yeah, what were you saying earlier? Caviar or something like that. Like when I'm in a state of like being able to afford a luxury, then I feel like I'm more likely to remember my creator than if I just like, oh yeah, I'm buying rice again, or I'm buying water again, or I'm buying like bread again, which are the basic ones. Because like, and then again, going back to my original comments, I feel like that is lost. Like under this framework of wastelessness, then m- money or the price of things is not really that important, but it seems to be in the text still. Like it makes reference to the cost of things.
In the text, it says, if the point to feed your body. It's not says baklava is bad because it's expensive. It says, if the point is to feed your body, the maksad, the purpose, then iktisad, the same word, going against this purpose is waste. The expense comes to in the picture in that, the equation. But like with what you said, I mean, whether what you say is true or not, like you would know it. But the first part, you're already saying that I'm wasting all the basic stuff. So then the point is not to, indulge you more, to say that, oh, yeah, you should go and eat the caviar all the time. No, the point is to save you from wasting. So instead of telling yourself that, oh, I need more expensive things, you should say, no, I should train myself with the less expensive things. So your medicine will be actually not buy expensive things.
I think the reason why like it's easy to get lost is because of the definition of what we're used to using these words. For example, I was just talking to Sarah about frugality. Also, I can be frugal, but from a point of like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be provided tomorrow, so I need to like hold on to everything. And there's still no things in that. So the only way to actually give things is if we go back to the definition that's being provided right now. So I think maybe for the purpose of discussion, avoiding like frugality doesn't help as much as like not being frugal, but mainly focusing on maybe like what the intention of the text is. Because I think I get lost if I think frugal or excess for that matter, because both lies in and has the potential to not give thanks ultimately. So yeah.
That's correct. And also, like another thing that I wouldn't like to lose sight of is like eventually whatever we touch upon is La ilaha illallah, right? But it has a different color. Like everything in this planet, we can touch on it and say that actually this means La ilaha illallah. In these discussions, I think you can relate to that statement. But I mean, this baby says La ilaha illallah in a different way than this old man says La ilaha illallah. Both of them says La ilaha illallah, but in different ways. So there are certain things that are inherent to this baby, certain things inherent to that old man, right? So when it comes to frugality versus wastefulness, as we know of it, there's a sense of it that we know about. So I would like to start from there a little bit so that we don't lose sight of it. Like when you waste something, even with the norms of the society, whatever your level is, you know that you do these things just for pleasure, for luxury. It has a sense of this, I can afford it and I will do it. And I am looking for the, I don't know, this tickling feeling of joy that will come temporarily by living this luxury. What is inherent in that attitude? Whatever I'm living normally is not that much satisfying to me. This is what is inherent there. This is why I would like to get this tickling feeling. This is why I'm going to pay the extra money or whatever it takes, extra time, so that I'll get this extra tickling feeling. This is our day-to-day knowledge of wastefulness. When it comes to frugality, I have this worry of losing it, or let's take it another way. Frugal means, I mean, I'm trying to take it a little back from being stingy. Let's say you have a coat, and your coat is something that you have worn for 3 seasons so far, and it's out of fashion now. And it started aging a little bit, but it's okay. You can repurpose it, or still you can keep using it. You can just wash it or iron it or do something. It's good enough to be used for another 3 years, if not more. But the fashion, it doesn't look as fashionable. Like, your friends will say that, oh, you are still from that era, that previous era, right? Frugality in this regard says what? I would like to keep this cloth up until it takes me. Like, I am preserving to wear this cloth for that purpose. Practically speaking, I'm still using the practical term. What is inherent in here? Author is mentioning that it is, you're respecting the bounty. Like, you're showing respect to the bounty itself. This is inherent in the act itself. Isn't it? Like, do you agree with these statements? Like, this is, you're a believer, disbeliever, whatever you are, these acts are inherent. These meanings are inherent in those acts. Now let's add La ilaha illallah on top of this, so that if I am showing disrespect or looking for this tickling feeling, and then, which means I'm ignorant of what I currently have, which means if I get to a level where what tickles me today is not going to tickle me tomorrow, if I keep buying this food, what is luxury to me today, if it becomes my norm tomorrow, I will not start appreciating it either, right? So it becomes waste. In this regard, really, practically speaking, wastefulness simply means I do not appreciate, I do not offer thanks, I do not see the value in it. And then you can apply to everything else, correct? But it really is coming with your everyday life as well. So that's why we shouldn't really jump to saying that, well, once I get into this mindset, I can really drive the best car and this and that. Let's try to get to the mindset so that I am thankful for the water that I'm drinking. Like, this should be the, if you are going to jump to anywhere, this should be the jumping conclusion, rather than saying, oh, with this mindset, I can buy the car. Sure, after we are done with water, after we are done with bread, or I don't know, the clothes that I buy. And because Dr. Ali used to make a sort of, I would say, joke about this. He says those cloth drives that MSA does every year, like, people lovingly give away their clothes to those clothing drives, because now you're cleaning up your wardrobe without the guilt. Now you can buy more clothes, but you are sending it to those needy brothers or sisters wherever out there for a good reason, good cause. And now space is opened up. I need a new pants. I need this and that. So this is becoming an excuse for me wasting with the hand of MSA. So
I just want to come back to the point of the connection between wastefulness and disrespect. So it could be understood in terms of disrespect of our creator, because there's a system. So it's like supply and demand. And you are respecting that demand. And if you're wasting it, then you're disrespecting the system. Like, you're overeating or overspending. But so, like, it's like going against the system that is built. So it's like disrespecting the order. And also it's like arrogant, and disrespect in terms of arrogance, like you're spending it or you're eating it like you are not accountable on one day. So yeah, I mean, that's like the connection between wastefulness and disrespect, I guess.
So I guess in this regard, this could be a measure of what's going to be a scale of whether I'm thankful or not, because definitely, like if I'm starting to get overweight, let's say, or if I am starting to like not start getting taste of something, not enjoying something, it looks like certain boundaries are already put on me. My creator put them to say that this much you can be thankful for. So did you do the thing of this? But since I am not there for that thing, but I am there for the joy. Like I could be doing this act for the experience to thank for, or I am there for just the joy. This much of joy was enough for you to offer your thanks. But since I am not there, I'm not doing this act, let's say eating, for thankfulness, but I'm looking for joy. I'm looking for more and more of joy, which by that time I'm already gaining weight. I mean, this is just a toy example, but you can apply to anything. Like if, I don't know, having 2 clothes is enough for me to be appreciative of, thankful for the one who gives. Have you thought about why humans are doesn't have like fur? Human is wearing these clothes everywhere, like across the globe, believer, unbeliever, right? But no other species out there wears any clothes. The creator created them, quote unquote, natural clothing. But human is not. Human is made to wear these clothing by creation, right? This is something to be thankful for, actually. And also think about why did creator not give us fur, but make us our own fur, if you like, but made up of either animals or plants or different things, actually. This is a way to show humans' position of khilafah over the rest of the creation. The creator says, go and make a cloth for yourself from the plants, from the animals, from, I don't know, the metals and whatnot, because you are a khalifa of the rest of the creation. So you're representative of them. And there's a sign that you are responsible for them, over them and for them. You are carrying bits and pieces of them over yourself. This is something to be thankful for, to be appreciative of. And having 1-2 pair of clothing is enough to be appreciative of that, but I'm not into here. I am really more about how do I look, my new clothing, and am I following the, I don't know, the fashion and whatnot. This is why I have a full wardrobe, right? So this is excess. This would have been enough, going with what you just suggested, the system, meaning the creator established the order, let's put the word order, but once I am not there for observing the order, I am there for this extra tickling, feeling of tickling, I start getting more and more. Okay, any comments, questions, suggestions?
And in that regard, so it is not an accident that in our society, in almost all societies, excessiveness, especially with clothing, for instance, as you put more and more pieces on you, it becomes a sign of a status. And it becomes that, well, you are richer, but at the same time, it means you are more powerful, etc. It's against the appreciation. On one hand, you say, I'm nothing. I'm the most needy creature. And all my needs are sustained. And whatever you wear is a sign of, this bounty and appreciation. So you value what you have. On the other hand, it becomes a sign of your status, your power. So that's the conflict. That's the tension. So it's not, having these luxury clothes or more than what you need, etc., on you. It's bad because, it's bad for your pocket. I mean, you don't need that much clothes. Why you are wasting, this material, etc. Yes, these are true. But the point here is that it's against appreciation. But it becomes just the opposite of it. What appreciation? I have the power. What appreciation? I have resources. That's the conflict. Otherwise, conflict is not between having a moderate life versus a luxury life. The conflict is between your needs versus your power. Which one is true?
Aaron, any other comments about the first point? Yes.
I think going from memory, what it says in the beginning, the all compassionate creator in desires thankfulness, or as in return for bounties, expects thankfulness, let's say, or desires thankfulness. I mean, it's an interesting thing to initially read, like, okay, my God wants me to be thankful, let's say. Assalamu alaikum. But when I look at that, I realize in my life too, like it kind of fits with my life, that whenever I am thankful, or I have been created in such a way that when I am thankful, that's the most, when I am, let's say, at content or happy, or my problems are the least, because I'm thankful for what's given. And then I think further, and then I think about, I do have a serious problem. Maybe it might even be like a endemic, or like a sickness of maybe a lot of humans, but a serious problem with how I can't feel thankful, or I have a sickness that stops me from being able to be thankful, or I don't even know what to be thankful for. I'm like, what should I be thankful for? I find this, and then I think of the way Nursi put it: if I am frugal, or whatever being frugal is, then it would help me. It would be help cure the sickness that I have, or I could have, of not being thankful. So if, like, for example, I mean, like, it just came, like, one example is, let's say I have a child. One thing I can focus on is, like, I could, instead of like looking at how he's growing, every moment that he's living, and appreciating that, and being, in the sense, being frugal in the sense of appreciating every moment that he's living and being thankful for that, I could rather look at, oh, I can't wait till he gets to this age and then it's going to be easier, or I can't wait till he grows up and then he's going to do that, and I just completely waste all the moments that he's living right now. And I find that living in that state of always waiting for something or wanting something more, one, as Nursi also said, you become a beggar before things. Like, when you're not frugal, interestingly, you start becoming a beggar before things. And in that sense, when I don't appreciate what I have here, then I start begging for the future. I start begging for something, and I feel even at more, let's say, despair. But if I am frugal and able to appreciate what I have now, then I see the value of what I have, and I'm able to be thankful. And I guess my final point is, like, how much physically should I be frugal? Like, where does it go? Because sometimes I feel like it's, depending on our upbringings, like spending $50 on something that's so going to save you hours of your time is like so difficult sometimes. Or like, there's like, to save $50 on something, you spend 10 hours researching, which, and you go through this torture. So at the same time, like, how frugal, or what is this frugality that I'm trying to achieve? And I guess one metric to measure it is, like, is it increasing your thankfulness, or is it decreasing your thankfulness, or is there thankfulness at all in there? Like, if I'm saving 10 hours, if I'm spending 10 hours to save $50, where's thankfulness in this equation? There's no thankfulness there. It's just torture to myself. So I don't know if we can call that frugality either.
Jazakallah khairan. So I guess we will have a lot of these conversations down the road. Does it worth it or doesn't worth it or whatever. Inshallah, that's an important point. It will come up eventually. But I guess to sum up this first point then, so thanks is put at the heart of the topic. And when it comes to frugality versus wastefulness, it is really about whether it's really wastefulness or frugality is a thing about thankfulness or disrespect. This is the bottom line. So let's go with the second point. Microphone is closer to that region. Who wants to read it? Sister Daratu, would you like to read the second point?
Okay, second point. The all-wise maker created the human body in the forms of a wonderful palace and resembling a well-ordered city. The sense of a taste in the mouth is like a doorkeeper's, and the nervous and blood vessels like telephone and telegraph wires. They are the means by which the sense of taste communicates with the stomach, which is at the center of the body, and informs it of the food that enters the mouth. If the body and stomach have no use for it, it says forbidden and expels it. And sometimes the food is harmful and bitter, as well as not being beneficial for the body, and it spits it out immediately. Thus, since the sense of taste is a doorkeeper, from the point of view of administering the body, the stomach is a master and a ruler. If the gifts arriving at the palace or city and those given to the palace's ruler are worth 100 liras, only 5 liras worth is appropriate for the doorkeeper in the form of a tip. Lest he becomes conceited and is corrupted, and then forgetting his duty, he lets revolutionaries into the palace who will give him a bigger tip. In consequence of this mystery, we shall now imagine 2 mouthfuls, one consisting of nutritious food like cheese and egg, and cost 40 para, and the other is one of the choicest pastries and cost 10 kurush.
Take it like a
Dollar.
40 cents.
Oh, okay.
$10.
Okay. Before entering the mouth, there's no difference in these 2 mouthfuls with respect to the body. They are equal, and after passing down the throat, they are still equal in nourishing the body. Indeed, 40 paras worth of cheese is sometimes more nutritious, only in regards to pampering the sense of taste in the mouth. There's a half-minute difference. You can see from this what a meaningless and harmful waste it is to increase the cost from 40 para to 10 kurush for the sake of half a minute. Now, although the gift arriving for the palace's ruler is worth 1 lira, to give the doorkeeper an 9 times bigger than its due will corrupt him. He will declare, I am the ruler, and will allow to enter whoever gives him the bigger tip and most pleasure. He will cause a revolution and conflagration to break out. Then he will compel them to cry out, oh, call the doctors and get him to put out this fire in my stomach and bring down my temperature. Thus, frugality and contentment are in conformity with divine wisdom. They treat the sense of the taste as a doorkeeper and give it its rumination accordingly. As for wastefulness, since it is to act contrarily to wisdom, it swiftly receives its punishment, upsets the stomach, and causes real appetite to be lost, producing from the unnecessary variety of food a false and artificial appetite. It causes indigestion and illness.
Jazakallah khairan. So the second point was a practical application of his intro in the first point into eating. What do you think about that? He gave the example of eating baklava versus cheese.
Cheese is cheaper.
Yeah. So and it's good baklava, so it's not like from the corner.
But things get complicated because like you can find cheaper baklava here than cheese, actually, right? So that's the reason. The point is not the money. Like, try to understand the example within the context. Yes, we are not talking about some super expensive French cheese versus super cheap Marrakesh baklava. Like, this is not the point. So this is talking about our common sense of once in a while you would like to reward yourself, quote unquote, with some extra I don't know, going to your favorite cafe, buying your most expensive drink, and near it you're buying some sort of a desserts and whatnot. And you said, well, I just do it once a week or something of that sort, right? So how and why is this waste? Do we see the point that author is making in here? Because the difference author mentioning is a 30-second difference. Do you agree with that? Microphone.
Yeah, I think that the example was very clear, saying that, like, again, I think Brother Berkan was mentioning this a little bit when he was talking to me. It really is about the point, right? Like, if the point is to nourish the stomach and the cheese and the baklava are nourishing the same, then you're just giving power to the mouth. That's not the point of eating, right? The point of eating is not pleasure for the mouth. It's to nourish you. So if you're ultimately going to, again, it doesn't need to be the most expensive thing, but if you're going to go extra for this baklava or whatever it is, just for 30 more seconds of pleasure in your mouth, but you're giving your stomach, like the point of the nourishing, the same amount of nourishment, then that's clear as day wasteful. Now, I hope we answered this at some point. Like, I know we're gonna have like similar conversations, but it reminds me of Ahmed's question that I think he has repeated, I think 2 times already. What's the practical difference, or like a takeaway of how I should treat treats, right? Like the rewards I want to give myself every once in a while, if I wanted to. I don't do that too often, but like, when, like, should we become shepherds? Like, you've heard him say this time and time before. Like, well, like, how do we separate, like, being shepherd is not what we're trying to say, but is it really, you can never go to a cafe and eat a baklava? I know that I know that it's a matter of understanding, but sometimes I do get confused with, like, is this what it is to be a good Muslim versus, like, like, what's the takeaway? And I'm sure we're gonna answer that at some point, but that's just my comment.
How do I use this as it goes on? Oh, I got a little confused the same way as you did, but I think to me, when it came together was towards the end, the danger of it corrupting. And in my mind, to the first point of, like, if the worth of the food is an intention, but also not wasting it is by giving thanks. If you're thankful for the baklava just as you are for the cheese, then, and you've recognized that both of them come from Allah, then spiritually it's the same. But the other way that I understood this example was also just kind of modernizing it to, like, for example, empty calories if you want to go to McDonald's or something, but like it's not real nourishment or food. And I guess for me, the way that I understood the danger was, if you indulge in this excessively, then you might fall into the trap of letting you try to just please that sense instead of trying to understand what's good for your body and what actually nourishes it, in addition to, being grateful for what you have, I guess.
So actually, this is a very valid, good question and point. But in the example, I mean, Brother Brick also highlighted this, right? It's saying that when it comes to feeding the body, But the question, as Natalie asking, was, well, I do it for entertainment though. Like, I don't go to this cafe for feeding my body anyways. I go to this cafe to reward myself, meaning reward myself in here simply means to entertain myself, isn't it? So I'm really eating this food to entertain myself. And generally, well, always, people do eat baklava to entertain themselves. Nobody eats baklava to feed their body. Author must be aware of that too, right? But why does author give such an example then? Why does he say that the main task is to feed your body? Because in the third one, he's going to start talking about the entertainment aspect of it in the third part, in the third point, when he talks about offering thanks. But otherwise, he is framing the act of eating. Let's think about the act of eating itself. And just like we didn't think too much about why we wear and we don't have a fur, let's also think about why do we feed ourselves? Like, why are we given this task? Because what is the most, like the utmost sustenance that you consume? What's it? Carbs? Isn't it oxygen, right? But oxygen is just something that you breathe in, right? I guess it could be perfectly fine if somehow, just like you breathe, you feed your body as well. It looks like intentionally you are made to feed this body, like you are taking an active role in feeding this body way more than you breathe, isn't it? And you are given the option to enjoy the food more than you enjoy breathing. I mean, you can enjoy breathing, fine, but we do have this extra, if you like, tip when it comes to eating. As if the creator is employing us in this act of feeding the body to teach us something, and then giving us an immediate reward, saying that, okay, I employed you in this task of feeding yourself, and by feeding, what we mean is just to take the food and put it into your mouth. The rest of it, still, he is going to take care of it. Like you don't, like we have biologists in here. You know how many cells are being fed? We are not doing that, right? We just put it into the mouth and the rest is being taken care of as well. The rest of the feeding is being taken care of. All we do is to take the food, put it into our mouth. And for that, we receive a payment, which is the joy. But this is a payment. This is not the goal. Like if I pay attention to how the system is set up and what is the point of this payment getting received, it's a payment of my creator to me because I partially did a job. Does this make sense or no? Like similar to how people are treating their dogs. This is going to be a controversial example. You say jump to the dog, right? And if the dog jumps, you give them a cookie or something as an appreciation of. But if the dog starts thinking that, oh, I am jumping because I would like to taste this thingy. No, it was an appreciation of the owner of the dog doing the job, right? So human, and actually if you pay attention to, this applies across the board. The creator gives payment immediately. Let me go out of context for a second. It's prophetic sunnah salam to pay the worker before their sweat dries, right? Actually, it's creator sunnah as well. The creator pays you before your sweat dries. You fed yourself, you immediately get pleasure. You are looking after your kids. It's a job that your creator is employing you in, but their smile is really just melting your, or like your heart melts inside. You immediately get paid. The creator is immediately paying you back for the job that he's employing you in. Long story short, this is what author is talking in here. The payment that you receive in the mouth is a payment for the act of feeding your body. It's not the goal of this tool. It's a payment. The purpose of this mouth is so that you learn who the sustainer is, who like this is the actual purpose of why this is made. But you can repurpose it, abuse it to make it a source of joy only. I mean, in modern times, this is how it is as well. If you even think about marriage and whatnot, this, like the joy that you get in marriage is for what? It's a payment for the service that you are employed in. In modern times, what's happening? Let's get rid of the service part of it. No children, no nothing, but still keep getting the joy, right? And this is becoming a major problem. In society level also, in the individual's life, it's becoming a problem. It was not supposed to be a source of joy or just a thing of pleasure. The pleasure is a tip that's paid so that as a payment, as a response to your service. But we are becoming like this doggy, which gets the cookie and says, oh, I love the cookie. I would like to get more cookie. And the whole purpose becomes the cookie, not the job, not the action itself. So I think this is why author in here is, let's try to focus on why, like the guy is a smart guy. He also knows that nobody feeds their body using baklava. But the example is framed in a way to say that the act of eating is there mainly for feeding your body. Are you aware of that? But if you ask me, no, I'm trying to make all my food as delicious as possible to appease my tongue, not to feed my body, not to offer thanks, none of these. This is a major problem. As long as this becomes the framework, then yeah, the example doesn't make sense. As an example becomes problematic here. Or it sounds like the guy is a super pious guy and he has never in his life eaten any baklava or whatever. And he's suggesting us to be a super pious, which means just eat dry bread and become shepherds and whatnot. No, the question is, you are a machine. Why are you made? Your mouth is a machine. Why is it made? Do you have an answer to that? Then on top of this, you say, yes, it is for feeding my body, but there's taste. Yes, there is taste, but taste is there as an immediate payment of your merciful creator for your service, the tiny service of putting food into your mouth. And by the way, definitely he shows that he could have taken care of everything in feeding every single cell of your body. He is employing you in this partial part of feeding your body so that you can relate to the idea that just like I am putting the food into my mouth, there must be someone who is putting the food into the mouth of every single cell. Does this make sense? This is how like you raise kids, not Atik, Ali. So like you would like to give them small tasks in, let's say, oh, Ali, help me with picking up this stuff. So he picks something small. But at the end, like mom and me, we just clean up the home. But at the end we say, we cleaned the house, and Ali really feels like we cleaned the house because now he can relate to the idea of cleaning. Did I really need this guy to pick up this small book from there? No. But by this action, I'm teaching him the idea of cleaning. And at the end, though, still, I give him a cookie or something to appreciate, saying that, look, you did this, and thank you. Eating is like this. Any joy that you receive is being given. This is why Creator put this mouth in here to say you that. See, you feed yourself so that you understand the idea of feeding. Then you appreciate the feeder across the board, then you also say that even this act of feeding is by him. Eventually we will say that. But up until we get there, we really feel like this much of it I feed, the rest of it he feeds. But the taste in there is just payment. It's not the purpose of the tool. When we get to the third point, he will expand it further, the taste part of it. But I guess at the second point, do we agree with this statement then that the purpose of feeding is to feed your body?
Just a minute. I like to read one part. Thus, frugality and contentment are in conformity with divine wisdom. Or we can take it as maybe, thus frugality and contentment are being in conformity with divine wisdom. You see, you look at the creation and you see wisdom everywhere. That's what it means, divine wisdom. Otherwise, do not try to, imagine the creator having a wisdom, knowing everything in the best way, etc. It says, it means when you look at the creation, you will see wisdom everywhere. Right? You will see wisdom everywhere, which also brings to mind that there is always a purpose with everything. Right? Everything is there for a purpose. It serves a purpose. Why? Because there's a wisdom. And if you go with this wisdom, if your action is in parallel with this wisdom, then you are being frugal or the content. If you are going against the wisdom, it's the opposite of frugality. In the original, the words makes it much easier. It says, the iktisad, again, if you go with the purpose, the maksad, what is intended, yes, exactly, right? Then you are being, frugal. The word frugality, doesn't give this sense. But if you are going with the purpose, with what is intended, then this is frugality, author says. When you take it this way, things will become easier, right? So with machine, like a car, for instance, there's this stick for checking the oil, right? And they say if the oil level is between these two dots, it is good. If it is lower, it is bad. If it is higher, it is bad. You don't say, I have a lot of oil, right? I have as much money as I want, so I will put extra oil. You will kill the engine, right? Maybe not right away, but in the long term. So you should go with the wisdom, what is intended. Same with the eating. There's a wisdom in your body. So the hard part here is appreciating this wisdom. Just like in the first point, we had to appreciate that we have needs. These needs are sustained, and they are sustained in a very beautiful, artful way, which requires appreciation, thankfulness, right? That was the hard part. Now the hard part is, it's not, spending less or more. Everybody can spend less. Everybody can spend more. But the hard is appreciating, accepting there's a purpose. There's a wisdom. You cannot use it as you wish. That's the hard part. And doing so, it says it's frugality. With eating, you would say, okay, there's a wisdom in my body that I cannot control. Right? So if I eat too little, the machinery will start, not working properly. If I eat too much, the same way, it will probably show even worse signs than eating a little. It's interesting, right? When you eat more, the consequences are much worse than eating less. Because with eating less, there's always still appreciation. You say, okay, I wish I had more. You start praying, etc. But when you eat more, it blocks everything. It blocks your appreciation. You start even complaining. I ate too much, man. I have to sleep. Right? It's a complaint. It means the machine is not working well. I have to rest. You broke it. Or type of the food you eat. Right? You will always see the consequences. It's very interesting. Like the point is not about, too much, too less, or, the cheap or expensive. So we usually take the obesity as the sickness of, the rich. They eat too much, they become obese. It's not true. In this country, for instance, in this society, most of the obese people are very poor people. Why? They eat a lot of junk food. The junk food makes you obese, right? Other than, other factors. And the junk food is the cheapest food. Like if you want to become, frugal in the, let's say sorry? Yes, monetary sense, just go eat McDonald's every day for 3 times. You will spend less money than cooking at home. The vegetables are most expensive things here. Fruits, the good ones, very expensive. Just go and eat junk food. The fast food, or what is it called? Like container foods, etc. Canned food, or just the candies, fancy stuff, chips. They are the most cheapest. Like they are the cheapest things. Eat them. Why they are like it is wrong? I'm spending less money if the point is money. The cooking at home is luxury, and you shouldn't cook at home. No. The point is not that. The point is there's a wisdom. When you cook, you appreciate how things come together, how things are prepared for you. When you prepare a food, do any, the simplest stew, like a chickpeas, simplest things they can serve, right? Every week. Anyway, it was my idea, so that's the reason I'm, that openly saying. It's the simplest thing, right? But even when you do that, you see how much attention it requires, how different type of things come together in a right way. If you put one of the ingredients more than what it's supposed to be, the people will start complaining and will not eat. Right? Everything has to be precise. Then you realize, oh, whatever is given to me goes through the same thing. Like I eat a tomato, and you start understanding that to prepare a tomato, to cook a tomato on a tomato plant, how much attention, precision is required. Right? You start appreciate it. There's a wisdom of cooking. There's a wisdom of eating healthy. Not because, you rich people, they eat like a healthiest stuff. They find if they are living here, they will find the most healthy, like a healthiest thing from the other end of the world, bring it somehow, right? Hire some doctors to tell them how much from each piece they should eat. They will eat healthiest. And that's not the point. Because they will do it for what? To live longer. I will conquer the humanity, right? I'm so rich, I have to live more so that I can rule more. Going against the wisdom again. We try to eat healthy. Why? Because we say, I appreciate, I respect this body. It is not mine. If I ask you to take care of my child, right? What would you do? You would take care of her even more than you take care of yourself. Because it is what? A trust. It is trusted to you. Same thing, your body is trust. It's trusted. And there's a wisdom, the way it works. You try to confirm, like a go in parallel with it. That's the frugality author says. And if you start eating baklava all the time, it will not, feed you as much as it should. It would spoil your senses. You will not start thinking about how everything is given to you as a bounty, etc., because everything is just a pleasure for you. That's the point. Otherwise, eating sugar, the sugar is a creation, sugar is a food given to me for a purpose, though. If it serves the purpose, it is good.
Jazakallah khairan. So we are up time. Any concluding remarks?
So somewhere it says, you can see from this what a meaningless and harmful waste it is to increase the cost from 40 cents to $10 for the sake of half a minute. First, it's comparing unhealthy to unhealthy food in terms of money, but then it introduces for the sake of half a minute. What does that mean?
Yeah, so in this example, like it was cheese that was more nutritious and healthy. Then there was baklava, which is more tasty, but more expensive. And the difference between them was half a minute of extra joy that comes with baklava. So it says just paying 40 times more for the sake of 30 seconds and spoiling the gatekeeper is going to eventually cause a upheaval within the systems, because now you are spoiling the gatekeeper so that it will let in all the revolutionaries inside. Okay, so let's conclude here, inshallah. And next week we will continue with the third point. And keep in mind that this is like about frugality. Nursi has another treatise about thanks, another one about Ramadan. So these are generally studied together, 1, 2, 3. And all these topics have very practical aspects. And by very practical, I mean, when it comes to Ramadan, I will fast forward to fasting, for example. We will say being thankful, but you do not become mentally thankful. The Creator doesn't let you just mentally achieve this awareness. And if you achieve this, you don't need to fast. This never happens. Because really, to practically achieve this awareness, you need to stay away from eating food for 15 hours a day for an entire month. So when it comes to frugality, the same application, practicality application, must be there as well. This is why I think this example of cheese versus baklava is a thing in our lives, wherever you are in your life. Like, I mean, personally, I don't like baklava anyways. But there are things that I like, which are luxury, which I reward myself with. Like everybody has this in their lives. Just put this in your example and see, is it a thing of an appreciation for you, or is it wastefulness for you? And start from there rather than trying to legitimize something. And okay, we talked about it for 1.5 hours and I reached mental appreciation of it. And now I can offer my thanks for my reward. Probably, I don't know you, but I won't, because still I am looking for an excuse to sugarcoat my self-reward, probably. So this is something to work on. Let's try to take it serious rather than trying to give some quick cover-ups, saying that, oh, my intention is good, so therefore I'm offering my thanks to my Creator. Really, should be my question. If it was really as easy, my Creator wouldn't ask me to be fasting for a month. Like that practical achievement, understanding is not just something intellectual. So let's take this serious, inshallah. We will continue from the third point next week. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم من الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة.